Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Life is a matrix of three. There are three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. Sattva is knowledge, rajas is activity, tamas is matter, inert matter. Then there are three, so many of them. Then there are three experiences, waking, dream and deep sleep. Then in every experience there are three components, experienced object, experiencer of the object and experiencer of the object. In this manner, this whole life is 3 by 3 matrix. And in this 3, the indicator is also consisting of 3. Om also has 3. A, U and M. Om. It is something like this. In a school, children study the human body. So they don't study in detail, only this much. This is head, this is trunk, these are legs. This is enough for the children. So the picture is there, then there is an arrow, and then it is written in a box, head. Then the trunk, picture is there, again arrow, another is written, trunk. Then the limbs, again there is arrow, and it is written in a box, legs. So, head, trunk and legs, these are the names. And what is shown, these are the objects. If this example is clear, in the same manner, waking experience is indicated by A. So if you take life, and in that life, one is waking experience indicated by A. Second is dream experience indicated by U. And third is the deep sleep experience indicated by M. So if we want to study life, we have to take into account all the three experiences. See, friends. But normally for us, what is life? Life means only the waking experience. Other two experiences we just are totally unconcerned, which is wrong. See? So, even within the waking life, there also we don't take our total life. For us, life is a cul-de-sac, a blind end. When something terrible happens, oh God, I think I am gone, there is nothing happening. See? This is how we funnel, we come to a very small point, and that is what we think the life is. And then small little issues are enough to disturb the poise, which is necessary for leading a fulfilled life. See, the reason is we are taking incomplete data. With the incomplete data, you cannot draw the valid conclusions. Life is not only the waking, it also is dream and deep sleep. This is what is indicated by Om. See? Every journey starts from where we are. One day somebody asked me, Swamiji, you are going to Lonavala, I want to come. Can you give me the directions? So I asked him, where are you? He said, why you should worry? Now tell me how the directions can be given. So I told him, I said, okay, take a flight, go to Moscow. From there, take another flight and go to Istanbul. And from there, if you are still alive, then come to India. See, before we punch our destination on the GPS, the GPS tells, where are you? See, friends, in the same manner, where are we? From there, the journey of life begins. So the journey of life begins from where we are, and we are in this world. Which is the world? Only two things: possessions and relations. Remove these two things from your life, you are happy. See? I was in London after my 3-4 days retreat. One Britisher asked me this question. Hey, Mr. Swami, you Indians do not get married when you become Swami? So before I could reply, he said, after all, happiness is not everything in life. See? So life is divided into two. Those who are married and those who are happy. See? The more you become subjective, where we are lost in the relations, lost in the possessions. So from there we start our journey. Now how the journey begins? When the possessions and relations are born. Possessions and relations are meaningful only when we are identified with our gross body. See, take step by step. We are starting our journey from where we are. And where we have to go? Soul and beyond. Don't forget the destination. We have to go beyond. In USA, there is one Swami, he calls himself as Beyondananda. See, if you go to YouTube, you can get something, Beyondananda. See. One wife complained him, my husband wants nothing, I don't know. So he said, give him nothing, he'll be happy. So, we have to go beyond. So first, to drop the possessions and relations, come to the point called as body identification. Drop body identification, then come to know that the embodied is different from the body. So the first station on this pilgrimage is body disidentification. If this is not happening, you may do anything in life. It's all trying to pour water on a pot which is upside down and complaining why the water is not going inside. See? So, world begins from body identification. When body identification is to be dropped, it cannot be dropped by any other way except wisdom. Body disidentification doesn't mean you kill yourself. That is not the way. Simply inquire and find out, can this body be me? Which is neither created by me nor my body listens to me, and yet I am the body. See, friends, if somebody has the first right on our body is our parents. That is why in Upanishad it is very clearly mentioned that Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. For every human being, mother is God. then the father is God, then the teacher is God, and then everyone is God. See, friends, with this attitude when we start living, then we come to know body is just like a house which is taken on rent but never paid any rent. See? So, we are not the body but the embodied. Then the second inquiry begins. Who is this embodied? Then like in yoga, in Sankhya, in karma, everywhere the dumb reply is given and we accept in the super dumb way. They come, okay, it is the soul. If you are a yogi, the soul goes from the above. If you are not a yogi, the soul goes from below. All rubbish. See, friends, soul doesn't come and doesn't go anywhere. Because soul is not. See, friends, like we are told, what is supreme reality? Satchidananda, conscious, blissful existence. Very good. What is the soul? Has anybody ever inquired? We simply accept soul, 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 make a soul curry and enjoy. See, friends, find out soul. Then we are told like every shoe there is a separate soul, in the same manner every body there is a separate soul. Useless. There is no soul per head. This is the difference between Vedanta Shastra and all other branches of knowledge. Here we are talking about freedom from I, not freedom for I. I cannot be liberated. See, friends, the most important thing is this. Then we start inquiring. Who is this soul? See, friends, now to understand this, take my usual example. If you have to define a husband, how will you define a husband? Man plus the limitation of wife is equal to husband. Three things. Out of these three things, which is real? The man is real, or the wife is real, or the husband is real. If the man is not, there cannot be husband. If the wife is not, there cannot be husband. So, husband is an appearance, an imagination, but not real. But if the man is not there, there cannot be husband. See, friends, can we show the husband separate from the man? Yes, we can show. One boy showed me. Somewhere, he came and asked, Swamiji, I got a question. I said, keep it with you, I don't need, I got plenty of them. He said, no, please reply my question. I said, before you ask me a question, I ask you a question. Are you married? He said, no, my face looks like that. A married person has got a tremendously wonderful face. There is no joy on the face. He is married. See? So, husband is the soul and man is the divine. See? Paramatma, Satchidananda is the reality and soul is expression of the reality through the limitations of Panchakoshas. See, friends, I gave this example many years before somewhere. This happened in Germany, Hamburg. After my 2-3 days retreat, one lady said, Swamiji, you should have come in my life 25 years before. I said, even then I would not have married you. He said, no, not for that purpose. Then I would not have divorced 3 times. I said, anyway, give it a try 4th time. Then I asked her a question. I said, now my question. When you got married for the first time, let us, for our calculation, call you, the wife, as W1. And the first husband as H1. The pair is W1, H1. Then you separated. Then you again got married. W2, H2. Then again you divorced. Again you got married. 3rd time, W3, H3. Now my question is, W1 is equal to W2 is equal to W3 is equal to what? Where they have gone? When you divorce for the first time, where you, the wife, has gone. When you divorce, you, the second wife, has gone. You, the third wife, has gone. Where they have gone? They have gone nowhere because they were nowhere. And who was miserable? The wife. Who is the wife? Who is nowhere? Can there be a better joke than this? This soul, the wife, wants liberation. So what the wife does? Divorces. After divorce is done, then I am liberated. Then after, again give it try, second wife. See friends, when you thus inquire about who the soul is, we come to know soul is just a manifestation. It is not a reality. Therefore, we have to work on these 3. So first is the body, second is the embodied, and the third is who is expressing in the body as a jiva. Third. So, in another way, this is gross world Adi Bhautik. Second is Adi Daivik at the level of the mind. Third is Adhyatmik at the level of the experiencer. Who is this experiencer? And when we inquire into the experiencer disappears. And only the experiencer remains. Experience without experiencer is going beyond the soul. Knowledge without the knower is going beyond the soul. Action without the doer is going beyond the soul. Therefore, these are the 3 techniques given to us. When we are only focusing attention only one matra of the Omkar, meaning for us life is only this waking world. For such people life is between the womb and the tomb. That's all. They have nothing beyond. Then the second one, life is not only the waking world, but we also lead our life at the level of the mind. See, take one example to make this point. If you are very hungry and you get the choice food of yours, aha, I'm so happy. Finish your prayers quickly, man. And they will be chanting the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Not quick prayer. And after the prayer is over, you are going to bounce on that food. That time you get this dumb mobile phone. What? Some terrible accident has happened to your near and dear, and he is being taken to the hospital. will you enjoy the food? See? When we are only at the level of the gross world, the quality of our experience is different. But when we come at the subtler level, immediately the quality changes. So first we give only importance to the objective world. Then we give importance to the experience of the objective world. See, friends. And then ultimately we come to the experiencer. These are the three things. So those who are busy only in the one A matra of the Om, they are only at the level of the world of experiences, worldly objects, etc. Those who are doing their meditation on A and U, A and U together, now they are coming out of the world of experiences, but they are coming to the experiences themselves. See? The other day I was in South Africa, in Port Elizabeth, very beautiful place. On the seaside we had a retreat, very nice cottages constructed, an extremely beautiful place. And when we were just going for a walk around the sea, one person asked me, Swamiji, which is the best place you like? I said, I like this place the best. There were other persons, Swamiji, you told the same thing when we were in Durban. You like this place the best. I said, yes, you asked me in Bombay, I will tell this is the best place I like. Because where you are, that is the best. Is it not true? If you are not there, and you may be in the heaven. See? How simple it is. So, do we give importance to the things, or we give importance to the experience that we go through? So those who give importance to the experience that they go through, they have graduated from the inert matter and come to the level of the experiences which are happening in the mind. O and U meditation. Then we come to the third. And the third one is the deep sleep experience. See? You must have seen there are many students when they sit for meditation, there are different bhava, the expressions of the meditation. One of the meditation is that when they are sitting, they will be, struggling to keep the eyes half open. And one person asked me, young student, Swamiji, they say keep the half open eyes, what to do? I said, how many eyes you have got? He said, 2. Half means 1, so keep one eye open. Don't struggle artificially. It's not going to help you. See? The second type of students, when they sit for meditation, then their meditation is a jhatka meditation. Do you know jhatka? Halal and jhatka. So when they sit for meditation, because when they are sitting, they are getting sleep, and in between they are in jhatka meditation. This is not meditation. These are cartoons of meditation. See? So, we come out of the gross, the mind, then from there we enter the sleep. Now in sleep, the experience in the world, be attentive, the experience in the world, the experiencer of the world, and the experiencer of the world, all three of them dissolve. See? So what is the experience in the deep sleep? There is only experience of bliss. That is why many people, when they don't get sleep, they go to satsang. There they get sleep. One NRI from US, he came to meet me. I was in Bombay that time. And said, Swamiji, I am not getting sleep. I am taking tablets and yet the dose is increasing. I don't know what I should do. Please help me. I said, okay. I had one very fat book of Bhagavad Gita. I said, you study this. When? I said, when you go to sleep to your bed, you keep it, lie down on the bed and keep the book like this and start studying. What will happen? I said, don't ask question, you start. He went home. Next day he came, Swamiji, you are awesome. I had such a lovely sleep without the tablet. See, Bhagavad Gita can give you everything. Whether it is realization or sleep, everything is possible. That is the beauty. So, in the deep sleep, there is experience without experiencer. See, friends, now be attentive. Can we sleep all the time? We cannot. Then, such a sleep, when you are all the time in sleep and yet you are functioning in the waking, dream and deep sleep, that experience is called as liberated while alive, Jivan Mukta. Bhagavad Gita says, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sayyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. The one who is awakened to his essential nature, for him, although he is living in this relative world, yet relativity doesn't become any issue for him. And is still abiding in his absolute self. See, friends, this is the ultimate. And therefore, we are told, first world, then the body, then the embodied, and then the deep sleep. So, our deep sleep is equal to Hiranyagarbha, where all of us are merged together. We are not separate. In the ocean, waves are not separate from each other. See, take this example. This is also a very good method of meditation. Once I was in Cairns in Australia, and we went to see their reef. Nice corals on the seabed. So we had to first of all go deep into the sea, maybe about 4 or 5 kilometers, when it is little shallow. Then our boat was parked and they gave us funny kind of clothes to put on. And when I was trying to see that water up and down was making me miserable, I said, hey, I don't want all these things. I removed all that. And then I was watching from above. So that person who was in charge, he said, hey man, what will you do now? I said, if I had to see them, I can directly jump and see. Why require so many things on the body? He said, okay, jump. And I jumped. And he started shouting, oh God, this fellow Indian jumped really. And I went deep inside. He thought I am completely gone. But I know swimming very well. So when I went down, and then I could touch the corals and everything, the fish were all around. And one principle I discovered. On the surface there are many waves. But as you go deep in the same place, there is not a single wave. Apply this principle. When we are living at the surface level of our personality, there are nothing but waves of disturbances, anger, desire, greed, passion, envy, frustration, depression. Go deep, no wave of any thought. You don't have to do anything, friends. And then there is no fear. That I wish this meditation should always happen. Please remember, no meditation is ever repeated. Don't have that funny thing. Meditation is not a military drill. Left, right, left, right, left, right, stop. No. See, every day, every meditation is a unique one. It cannot be repeated. That which is finite alone can be repeated. Infinite cannot be repeated. Sounds are finite. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Repeat. And silence. You can't repeat the silence. When we repeat meditation, we are only at the body level. See, sit in this posture, in that posture, pillow here, pillow there, and like that. With all difficulties, with great difficulty, that structure is standing. See, that is not the meaning. Patanjali very clearly tells, asana can be effective only prayatna shaitilya, when you have no efforts. See? For us, in 1 hour, we change our postures 60 times. One time this leg goes here, then it comes over here, then the hand goes here, then the hand goes here, and finally don't know what to do with the legs. See? That is not meditation. Prayatna Shaitilya, freedom from efforts will be possible only if Ananta Samapaddibhyam merge in the Absolute. Like before getting into deep sleep, we do this way, that way, on the back, on the left side, on the right side, taking the pillow, leaving the pillow, covering this thing, covering the head, switching, so many things. Once the sleep begins, then there is no posture issue. Then the real, the biological Omkara begins. Kharrrr, kharrrr. The whole society is disturbed. See, friends, therefore, this experience is now indicated in the last 2 mantras. Tisro matra mrithyumatya prayukta anyonya shakta anaviprayukta kriyasu bhaya bhyantara madhyamasu samyak prayukta sunakam patejnyaha. So these 3 matras of the Om, A, U, Ma, A, U and M, they are meant for the waking, dream and deep sleep. Be attentive. When they are separately considered, when you consider your waking experience independent of the dream and the deep sleep, then they are bound to end and you will be frustrated. But when you consider in its whole, in its totality, then we come to know the waking experience along with the waker and the waking world comes like a cloud from within. It showers, it goes away. Then another cloud, white cloud with no rains, only thunder comes and goes away. Dream. Then absolute dark space, the deep sleep. They come and go. But the Chidakasha, the conscious space that we are, it never comes and never goes. That is the ultimate. And if we think waking is only, or dream is only, or deep sleep is only, then we are bound to get lost in this relative world. Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, Bhagavan Krishna says, Mattaha smriti jnanam apohanancha. 4 things are happening in me, not to me. They are happening in me. First is jnanam, waking experience. It comes and goes. Then the dream experience. It comes and goes. Then apohanam, deep sleep experience. Comes and goes. Samadhi begins and ends. This waking, dream, deep sleep and samadhi, they do not belong to the absolute reality. They belong to, the waking belongs to the intellect, the dream belongs to the mind, the deep sleep belongs to the ahankar, and the samadhi belongs to the chitta. It has nothing to do with absolute self that we are. See, north, east, west, south, four of them. Space has nothing to do with the four of them. Whether it is east or west or south, it makes no difference to the space. But those who are the victims of this feng shui, they will be having pillar here, what do you call that? A crystal here, crystal there. Why? Feng shui, feng shui. Nothing like feng shui, you're wasting your time and energy. See? Because their attention is not on the space, their attention is on the direction. In the same manner, our attention is not on the self that we are. Our attention is only waker, successful, failure, dreamer, good dream, bad dream, deep sleeper, sleeping even in the lecture, and samadhi never happens. See, friends, we have to only change our focal length. That's all. You know, the other day I was in Ahmedabad and in somebody's office I went. And on the wall there was one very peculiar kind of picture, like, you know, the border of a sari. And it was framed. Normally that kind of picture is never in the offices. So I went and saw what it is. So my friend said me, Swamiji, can you tell me what is that picture? Then I'll really appreciate you. I said, you don't appreciate me, who cares, but I can tell you. Then I told him, I looked at the picture, I said, now note down. There is Sai Baba sitting, then there is Om behind him, behind that there is one swastika, Hitler's, and then there is a flower. And on the two sides there are birds, peacocks. When I told him, he jumped out of his chair. Wow! You could see that? I said, yes. You must have read. I said, where? The, label? I said, I don't know where is the label. He said, I can't trust it. I said, who cares? He took out a book from his drawer. There were 30 pictures, similar type. He said, if you can tell me. I said, note down. I took it. In 30 pictures, I told him in 10 seconds. I said, picture number 1, this. He could never imagine this can happen. He said, Swamiji, I tried it with many people. Nobody could tell it. How are you doing it? I said, very simple. I am a student of Vedanta. Who is the student of Vedanta? Who allows the lecture to happen but never listens. I do the same thing. I was looking, I was not seeing. When your eyes focus to infinite, the obvious which is hidden is seen. Presently, our attention is only names and the forms. We are lost only in names and forms. If you drop the forms, the mind dissolves. If you drop the sounds, in the silence, the mind dissolves. mind can survive on these two diets, names and forms. Expose yourself to silence. Make silence as an object of perception. Like the ice cube dissolving in the waters without making a noise and without leaving a trace behind that there was an ice cube here floating. See, friends, and when the mind dissolves, where is I? Therefore, we told you, freedom from I is going beyond the soul. See? It is not like yoga. Earlier, I used to drink every day. But since I came on this line of yoga, now I drink alternate days. Earlier, I used to eat non-vegetarian every day, but now I eat only on Ekadashi. That I is still maintained. We have to get rid of this I, that is the problem. See, friends, that is what is meant over here in this mantra. Tisro matra mrityu-matya prayukta anyonya sakta anaviprayukta kriyasu bhayabhyantara madhyamasu samyak prayuktasu na kampate jnaha. He who is thus very clear about it, waking comes and goes, dream comes and goes, deep sleep comes and goes, samadhi is there or not, who cares? Na kampate jnaha. There is no fear. Oh, I did not do my meditation today. Now what will happen? Nothing was happening when you were doing meditation. What is going to happen if you don't do? See, meditation is not a punishment. See? If you are disturbing, do meditation. Suffer silently. Na kampate jnaha. There is no fear. Oh, what will happen? What will happen? I have not done my japa. I have not done my japa. What will happen? You are doing japa, nobody knows, including God. This is not spiritual practice. We are only mechanical. Like, the military drill. There was a sergeant who was teaching the new recruits. Left turn, right turn, about turn in a parade. And there was one useless soldier like me, eating the chewing gum, standing, not moving. And sergeant got angry. Why don't you move? You decide first which is the last turn. Sometimes you are taking a left turn, sometimes right turn, sometimes about turn. You are confused. Tell me the last turn. I'll turn. Is it military drill or what? Meditate. See, friends, that is not meditation, that is not spiritual practice. We have nothing to achieve in life. See, nothing to achieve. Otherwise, all the time complaints. The other day, one lady, she was coming with her husband. I didn't know who are they. But casually I said, Mama, why are you torturing this Bhole Baba, Lord Shiva? So she became very serious. Swamiji, did he come and tell you? I said, no, Baba, nothing. I casually said. No, I don't know him, whether he is your husband or anybody. Then she started telling. He gets up early in the morning, 2 o'clock, and does meditation up to 6 o'clock. That time I am sleeping. Is it not his duty to wake me up and also make me do meditation along with him? Arre? Meditation is not a collective effort to reach somewhere. See? It's not a soulmate. They call it soulmate. They'll put in the hand, meditate. And when the soul goes, Shiva remains. Without the soul. That is not spiritual life, friends. Only complaints. The other one said, he hears nice, Shankadhvani and bells and everything, but I never hear anything. What is the reason? I said, you are deaf. Therefore you don't hear. I am not seeing light, Swamiji. Why? Bulb fuse. Next. Don't get all these things. I'll give you one thumb rule. That which comes and goes is not the truth. How simple it is. That which begins and ends is not the truth. We can ask a question, where is the earth? We can ask a question, where is waters? We can ask a question, where is fire? We can ask, where is air? Can we ask a question, where is the space? Answer will be, where the space is not. Everything is in the space. But where is the space? Space is in our head. When we close our mind, as in deep sleep, where are we? See, friends. So, earth is in the waters, earth and waters are in the fire, these three are in the air, these four are in the space is in our mind, and the mind is nothing but an expression of consciousness in the body. This conscious reality is our essential nature. When there is volcano eruptions, will the space get disturbed? When there are tsunamis, will the space get disturbed? When there are Californian infernos, will the space get disturbed? See, when there are hurricanes in the Miami area, will there be disturbance in the space? And that space is nowhere except in the mind. So the mind is also not disturbed, because mind is merely an expression of consciousness. How simple it is. This is going beyond the soul. But when we are unable to think in its totality, there is one word these days very much in the yoga as well as medical sciences, they call it holistic approach. Spiritual life is also a holistic approach. See? And when we take the holistic approach, then we come to know that health is our essential nature. Doctors do not give us health. They only remove the disease. Dis-ease. When you are not at ease, dis-ease. So doctors can never give us health. If doctors have to give us health, everybody will be unhealthy. Health is our essential nature. The doctors don't give us vision. Vision we have. If there is some cataract, that only is removed. In the same manner, spiritual practice does not make us divine. We are divine. The curtains, the layers of wrong notions, they are removed by the study of scriptures. And that is why a wise man can never be arrogant. Because what is his experience is, earlier I was a fool. Now how can there be arrogance about, do you know, earlier I was a fool, now I am not? No. We don't become divine, we are. See, friends, in this manner, Rugbhiretam Yajubhir Antariksham Samabhir Yattat Kavayo Vedayante Tamonkarena Eva Ayatanena Anveti Vidwan Yattat Shantam Ajaram Amrutam Abhayam Param Chaiti. Thus, by this Onkara sadhana, by the Rigveda, we are expert in the worldly life. By the Yajurveda, we become expert in the subtle life at the level of the experiences. By Samaveda, we enter in the deep sleep experience of happiness. Happiness in the deep sleep is not from any object. The happiness in the deep sleep is not gathered through sense organs. It is the inherent happiness. See, friends, therefore it is a Samaveda. Samaveda is a musical expression of the divine mantras. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, one mantra comes. Taittiriya Upanishad is from the Yajurveda. It is said there, when a person comes to know etam annamayam atmanam upasangramya, etam pranamayam atmanam upasangramya, etam manomayam atmanam upasangramya, etam vijnanamayam atmanam upasangramya, etam anandamayam atmanam upasangramya, then etas samagayan naste ha vo ahamannam amannadaha. This is the Samagan. It is a music of joy. This is the deep sleep. And he who thus knows that all the waking dream and deep sleep, all of them are just coming and going. By the presence of the waves, the ocean doesn't become heavily loaded with the waves. And when all the waves are erased, stopped, there is no loss to the ocean. Exactly the same way, the waking and the dream experiences do not add anything to me. And the experience of the deep sleep and the samadhi doesn't take away anything from me. This is the meaning of Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate. This is our essential nature. See, friends. So, Samabhir Yat Kavayo Vedayante Tad Onkaram Ayatanena Anveti Vidwan Yattar Shantam Ajaram Amrutam Abhayam Param Chaiti. So, be attentive. Now, how the Om is chanted? Om. Then there will be gap. That gap is called as amatra. Amatra means absence of any u or ma. So, Om. 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 So when we are in the sound Om, we are in the waking dream and deep sleep. But when they are absent, we continue to exist. We don't disappear. The waker is absent in the dream, in the deep sleep and samadhi. The dreamer is absent in the waking, deep sleep and samadhi, and so on. But there is one principle which is never absent. That principle is beyond the soul. That is our essential nature. Yad gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Upanishad very clearly tells that There is no fear of falling back. In Bhagavad Gita, one verse comes, शुचीनाम श्रीमताम गेहे योग भ्रष्टो बीजायते अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम. There is a karma bhrashta. One can fall in the karma. One can fall in the yoga. But this not. In the second chapter, Bhagavan says, Sthitva syam antakalepi brahma nirvana mruchati. When we come to discover our essential nature only once in the lifetime, even at the time of departure from the body, there is no fall again. See, friends, it is something like, when the drop falls in the ocean, it's not the same drop will again come out. It's disappeared into the waters. This is the meaning of soul and beyond. When you come to this, there is nothing to talk, there is nothing to gain, there is nothing to lose. And the best part is, this is not an achievement. It is something like this, One day somewhere, one old man like me, he kept his glasses on the head. And his grandchild was asking, Dadaji, what are you searching? My dear child, I left my glasses somewhere, I am not seeing. Now that girl takes the grandfather for a ride. Grandfather, you must have gone to the bathroom, let us go there. He takes to that old man to the bathroom. Oh, it is not here. Maybe you have gone on the top, for your morning meditation, you might have kept it there. Again, 2 floors, that old man goes. Oh, it is not there. And then maybe it is in the temple you are doing prayer, it is not there. Now the mother of that small child asks, what are you doing? So he tells, keep quiet. Because he is playing with the old man. And when the old man is tired, can't walk here and there, he says, I don't know where did I... got it. And the child is laughing, I made a fool of you. Now tell me, is that goggles or glasses, are they gained? They were already there. They are not created. So it is a gain of no gain. Because it was never lost. See, friend, praptasya prapti. It is attainment of the attained. And therefore, wise people can never have arrogance. What is there to gain in this world? It is simple, very simple. Because here, the doership, everything disappears. The last question, the 6th question, is by another student, Sukesha Bharadwaj, and he is little talkative. He first of all makes a big story and then asks a question. That we'll try to complete in tomorrow's morning session. With that, this retreat should be over. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.